Hey y'all, welcome to week 13 of your first year of drum lessons, Drumset edition. My name is Penny Larson and I am very happy to have you joining me today. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, but also go back through the playlist, Your First Year of Drum Lessons, so you can catch up to where we are. Today we're going to be doing something that'll probably be a little on the easy side. Remember, we've talked a few times about pacing ourselves, that sometimes a lesson is going to be a little bit more advanced and maybe a little bit overwhelming and it might take you a couple weeks to get through. And then there's going to be times when lessons are almost as much conceptual as they are physical. And once you understand the concept, you can move on, right? So today what we're going to do is apply 16th notes with the hands to some drum beats. The last couple weeks we've been applying 16th notes to the bass drum. Now we're going to see how some 16th note patterns might work with the hands. And we're going to do 16th notes as our ostinato. Ostinato is just a word that means our repeating pattern. Okay? So we're going to do 3 different versions of that. And we're going to use our bass drum patterns, some of our bass drum patterns that we've seen before. Okay? So here's today's handout. Even though it's lesson 8, a lot of the bass drum patterns, well, all of the bass drum patterns you've seen before, okay? And there's 18 examples, but each group of 6 has a different 16th note approach with the hands. So really, there's kind of only 6 examples, 3 different ways for today. Like always, this handout will be available as a PDF down below in the doobly-doo. I encourage you to print it out, look at it on your device, print it out on paper, wow, and follow along. It is as important to learn how these sounds look as it is just to mimic the sounds that I'm making for you, okay? The first 16th note pattern we're going to do with our hands is I'm just going to play all the 16th notes with my right hand on the hi-hat, okay? So really simply, if I was going to count 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay, I'm going to play that pattern with the very first beat we learned, that Billie Jean boom bap boom bap, just so you can see how that sounds. Remember, 16th notes are 4 notes per beat, right? So the first one is where the bass drum and the snare drum are going to go, because I'm going to be playing quarter notes, right? So that sounds like this: 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and A great song to work on with this pattern is I Wish It Would Rain Down by Phil Collins with Chester Thompson on drums. It's basically that pattern I just played a little bit faster. And so let's hear that a little bit faster. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. You might notice this one is pretty tough of a workout for your right hand once you get much faster than that. Let's try it a little faster just so you can see how that's going to work. Remember, like we've talked about before, you're going to need to have your hand really relaxed. This is one of those times where an up-down or push-pull motion can be helpful. Remember, we've talked about getting 2 notes for the price of 1, right? once you start doing 16th notes with your right hand, it becomes essential, right? So let's try that a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that it gets pretty intense pretty quickly. Now let's go through our examples. And again, we've seen these bass drum patterns before. One of the things about music, one of the realities is there's a lot of reused elements, right? Especially for drummers, we mix and match pieces all the time. And so by reusing our bass drum patterns, hopefully these 16th notes with the hands will seem like a piece of cake to get through, right? So number 1 just has pretty much the pattern I was just playing with an extra 8th note on the and after 2. And that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 2 just adds a bass drum on the and after 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 3 is the same pattern as that, but we're going to take away the bass drum on beat 3, so now the bass drum in the middle there is on and after 2 and after 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 goes back to the pattern in number 1, but adds an 8th note after 4 as well. So we get boom, bat, boom, boom, bat, boom, boom, bat, boom, boom. So that snare, bass, bass pattern becomes kind of its own ostinato, right? Its own repeating pattern. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, that same pattern, we're just going to add an 8th note on beat 1 on the bass drum. That sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 6, we're just adding one more bass drum on the and after 2 to fill in all of those bass drums on all of the ands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so hopefully all of those bass drum patterns were pretty easy because we've seen those before, right? And playing all of those 16th notes with your right hand, it's busy, but from a conceptual standpoint, hopefully it's not too bad. So now we're going to go back to that first bass drum pattern, and we're going to change up our hand pattern. Number 7 I've got the sticking written in here. Number 7, you can see it's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And there's no hi-hat on beat 2 or 4. That's because our right hand is going to move from the hi-hat to the snare drum. So on beats 2 and 4, there's only snare drum, no hi-hat. 1E and 2E and like this. If you want to think of it as an 8-note pattern, on the 5th note, you play the snare drum, or 1E and 2E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And you can practice that before you put the bass drum with it, just to get comfortable. Our bass drum patterns in this exercise are all 8th notes, and the reason I did that is because in the 2nd and 3rd 16th note patterns with your hands, the bass drum is only going to be playing with your right hand. If you play a bass drum with your left hand, you'll know something's wrong somewhere, okay? Because remember, our right hand lead concept, all of our numbers and ands, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, are going to be with the right hand. So all of these bass drums that are just 8th notes or quarter notes are going to be with the right hand. We're not playing any E's or Uhs with the bass drum, and the E's and Uhs are where the left hand is. Okay? Let's try number 7. 1, 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. And as opposed to the first hand pattern, because I'm using both hands, I can go really fast with these ones. So let's try that one a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a. And honestly, with that pattern, that's actually pretty moderate of a tempo. I'll leave it to y'all to work them up faster. They could go quite a bit faster than that. Pretty much as fast as you can play 16th notes with your hands, you can play these beats that fast. Okay, so the foot pattern in number 8 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 9. 1, 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 10. 1, 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 11. 1, 2, 3 Eana, 4 Eana. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3 Eana, 4 Eana. And number 12. 1, 2, 3 Eana, 4 Eana. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3 Eana, 4 Eana. Okay, so the last section of these, sticking-wise, is the same as the second section. I'm just playing right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. But if you notice, on the E's and the Ahs, it's the snare drum, and the notes have parentheses around them. So when a drummer sees notes like that, snare drum notes with parentheses around them, we're going to think of those as notes that we call ghost notes. And those are notes that are very quiet, that are pretty much designed just to fill up the space and provide the rhythmic web without, kind of forcefully stating the rhythm. The ghost note is a really great word for it. There are certain drum beats where you probably don't even realize there are ghost notes going on, because a lot of times they're just there to kind of almost offer like a shade of gray to the groove. They don't really change it too much, so much as just tint it a little bit, right? And so even though we're still doing 16th notes, and the sticking is going to be the same as the previous group, with 13 through 18, it's going to sound more like I'm playing eighth notes as my ride pattern, even though technically my ride pattern kind of is this. Right, if I took out my left hand, I would just be doing this. Right, but filling in that left hand, now suddenly I have the whole 16th note pattern going, even though it sounds different than when it was on the hi-hat, right? And like number 7 through 12, because I'm playing the 16th notes alternating right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, these ones can go pretty quick, right? As fast as you can get your right hand back and forth between the hi-hat and snare and play 16th notes. So let's run through how these sound. Number 13. 1, 2, 3 Eana, 4 Eana. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a. Number 14. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 15. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, number 18. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a. And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the other thing we're going to do for today is this exercise we learned the other day on the drum pad called Paradiddles After America. And if you remember, I called it that because it uses the rhythm from the melody from the song America from West Side Story by Leonard Bernstein. This piece is in 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're going to do 2 paradiddle-diddles and 3 single paradiddles. And the paradiddle-diddles are worth a beat and a half each, and the paradiddles are worth a beat each. And so that's going to give us 6 beats. We're going to do this 2 different ways, okay? The first is we're going to take those accents and we're going to move them to the toms. And we're going to do our simple old version of our right hand goes to floor tom and our left hand goes to the rack tom. This works whether you have a 5-piece drum set or a 4-piece drum set or a 100-piece drum set, right? Pick 2 toms and use those as your low note and your high note, and that's where our melodic content is going to be. And if you have more toms, then once you're comfortable with that pattern, then you can move that around. Okay? So remember, the paradiddle-diddles stay on the same hand. So I get right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And all of those accents are moving to the floor toms. Nice and slow, it sounds like this. Okay, and a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's go one step faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you notice number 2, another thing I can do with this exercise, instead of just putting the accents on the floor toms, I can put the accents on the crashes, and I'm going to double the crash with the bass drum. So whether I play a crash with my right hand or my left hand, I'm going to double that with my right foot. Double just means play at the same time. If you don't have 2 crashes, you can use 1 crash. You can use a crash and a ride. You can use the ride and the hi-hat. And you can play the hi-hat either open or closed. This is about learning how to move around the drum set, not necessarily, oh, it has to be on that crash, it has to be on that crash. Oh, wow, Penny has symmetrical crashes, it has to be like that. No, it doesn't, right? Pick 2 cymbals or even 1 cymbal twice that work for you and learn the pattern that way. Here's how I'm going to play it. Nice and slow at first. 4, 5, 6. Okay, and a little bit faster. 4, 5, 6. And one more step. 4, 5, 6. Okay, and this is just one particular melody, right? There are a million ways to use paradiddles, either to move around the drums, which we've talked about a little bit, or to play those accents on some crash cymbals, doubled with the bass drum. A thing you saw was that because this pattern has 2 paradiddle-diddles and 3 single paradiddles, it changes hands, right? So I could pretty easily be moving one direction or the other and be making lots of melodic choices about what I want to do just using those simple paradiddle patterns. Okay? So that's going to do it for today. We've got 3 new concepts for your hand on the hi-hat, although they're all 16th note concepts, and we're using bass drum patterns that we've seen before. So hopefully, even if the concept with the hands is a little tricky, you'll get there because the bass drum parts should sound very familiar at this point. And then we've got this cool fill that we started working on the drum pad the other day, applied to the drum set. If you missed the lesson the other day, I encourage you to check it out. These Wednesday, Friday lessons are really designed to go together synergistically, right? There won't always be something as obvious as this, where we're learning an exercise on the pad and then immediately taking it to the drum set. But the pad exercises and the drum set exercises are definitely going to work together. Okay? So that brings us to the end of this lesson. If you like this lesson, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to make sure you catch all the videos as I release them, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. If you really want to make sure you don't miss anything, hit the little notification bell icon, and then you'll get notifications when I release videos. You can get in touch with me on Facebook and Instagram at Penny Larson Drums, and it'd be great to connect with you there as well as here. A lot of the material I do overlaps between the 3 platforms, but there's definitely things that are unique to each platform. So if you want to make sure you're catching everything I'm doing, you want to follow me in all 3 places. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope you're all staying sane. It seems like I say this in all these lessons, but these are some interesting times we're going through, and that's good and bad, right? If you're lucky, that means you have more time to practice, and so you'll come out of these couple months with drum chops you never expected to have. And for others of you, I know it's been challenging because you're not with your drums, or you can't play your drums because your neighbors are around all the time. And you have my commiserations. I know what that's like. I would encourage you to try and figure out some way to practice, even if it's just setting up some pillows on your bed and using those for your toms and working on patterns, right? When you don't have drums or a drum pad or something and you have to resort to something like pillows, there are certain things you're not going to be able to work on. But there are certain things you're going to be able to work on more effectively than you are with drums and drum pads. So hopefully you find some creative way to be productive. If you're having trouble being productive or even thinking about being productive, that's cool too. The world is kind of sick right now, and if the best you can do is get out of bed and sit in front of TV with a tub of ice cream, that's okay. We're gonna get through this, okay? And yeah, and that's my little preaching for the day. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I keep threatening to do the Drummers You Should Know videos. I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 of those in the near future. And I'm going to be very curious about your guys' feedback about whether you think those belong on this channel or whether they distract from the things we're doing on this channel. This channel has always been kind of about me as a drummer. There's lots of bad cymbal demonstration videos. There's some performances of mine, and there's lots of lessons and little snippets, right? So we'll see. We'll see how the Drummers You Should Know videos might fit into the tenor of the channel or not. So when those go up, I encourage your feedback. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you at the very least next Wednesday for our next Your First Year of Drum Lessons video, drum pad edition. Okay? All right. Take care, y'all. I love you very much. Bye.